really comfortable for the time being. If you ever need to take a break or use the restroom, just let me know. I'm happy to point that out for you guys. So first and foremost, thank you for taking time out of your Saturday afternoon to come join me and talk about beer and beer pubs and things like that. I'm really excited to have you guys. My name is Sarah. I'm an independent researcher. And that matters because I want you guys to know I don't work for Mollis. I don't have any affiliation with Mollis. I'm really just here to understand what you guys like and don't like about brew pubs in the area. And as you've already met Jay is part of the SLU community panel, and he's going to be helping me by taking notes so that I'm not constantly typing or jotting things down as we talk, so I can have a conversation with you guys. But together we're just really excited to learn more about what Mollis could be potentially for the neighborhood based on what you guys have experienced elsewhere and what you'd like to see here. So there's really no right or wrong. You guys are the experts, and we're going to be talking a lot about beer and food today. So what I want to do, also just a couple things actually I should mention. There's several of you around the table, and I want to make sure I hear from everybody. So I'm going to be asking some open questions where anybody just chime in, and just know that if your neighbor is talking, just let them finish their thought before you chime in, make sure I hear everybody. And the other thing is I am recording our session. It's not going to be put on YouTube or anything like that. It's just for me so I can go back and remember what we talked about and write up some key learnings. But besides that, I'd love to have everybody go around and introduce themselves. If you can share your first name and outside of work, what's sort of your go-to activity or hobby or what you'd like to do, and your favorite beer and food combo. So I'll go first. I'm Sarah. Outside of work, I'm usually walking my new puppy, my new dog, and I love to go kayaking out on the lake. My favorite pairing is probably burger and an IPA. That's just would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So I'm Dan.
Oh, I should mention they're doing like brewery, restaurant-y type stuff in the background. Just make sure I capture everybody. If you could speak up. The mic in the middle of the table is pretty strong, but just in case so everybody can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Dan. I'd say like outside of work, I also love to be outside. So we have a little dog and I like to take her out to some of the great parks in the area. And I think my probably favorite combo would be like pizza and beer. So maybe like a spicy pizza with an IPA or something like that.
That's a classic.
Yep.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm Christine. Outside of work, I really enjoy hiking and traveling as much as I can. In terms of my favorite combination, it probably depends on the season. Since we're in summer, I'd say it's probably like nachos and an IPA, or maybe something a little lighter if it's really hot.
Yeah, good call, good call. Yeah, if there's like a specific type of beer that's part of your combo criteria, definitely mention it, but if not, whatever comes to mind. Thank you.
My name's Christina, and outside of work, I have 2 small dogs, and I tend to go to a lot of the dog parks. So I am, and my favorite combo would have to be a burger and an IPA as well.
I'm Megan.
Sorry.
I'm Megan. Outside of work, I like to be outside. I like to go walk/run, and I like pizza and Pilsner in the summer.
Hi guys, I'm Joe. Outside of work, I love to play beach volleyball in the summer. We've been playing a lot at Golden Gardens lately, which is a lot of fun. Great way to get out in the sun every week. In terms of food that I like to eat, especially in the summer, I'm a big fan of West Coast style IPAs, so something a little more fruity and citrus, not as hoppy necessarily. And then I love to pair that with something like a chicken club sandwich or something like that, with nice like spicy flavors.
And I'm Andrew. Outside of work, lately I've been getting into kickball. I'm on a couple of kickball teams, so it's been a lot of fun. I'd say my favorite combination is probably an IPA with just some frites, some fries, and aioli maybe.
Yeah, you gotta have the aioli.
Always gotta have that.
Good sauces.
The sauces.
Always.
Yeah.
That go along with that stuff. Cool. Well, what I want to do to start off with is actually, for my markers, kind of the common theme of why you're all here today is because you've expressed an interest in brew pubs or going to sort of spots that combine craft beers with good food. And I want to focus on that for today. So I want to to first understand sort of what are the type of beer pubs you're visiting and sort of how often, like ultimately why you like those. And I wanted to start to list out some of our favorite brew pubs. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in SLU. This is just in general in Seattle. What are the ones that come to mind that you guys are really liking for one reason or another?
McMinim's.
McMenamins?
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher the spelling, but I promise I'll get it right eventually.
I think they have a wide variety of food that's good and good ale.
Yeah. Awesome. What else?
Can you clarify
Yeah.
what you mean by brew pubs
Just to be
specifically? Do
specific.
they have to be brewing on site, and also do they have to have a full food menu, or?
You know, it's a good question because I think there's a lot of variations in
Yeah.
that. I would say anything that you define as featuring beers, craft beers. They don't necessarily have to brew
Okay,
their
perfect.
own or be brewing on site,
Okay.
but also pairing with food for the most part.
Okay.
Even if it's just small plates. There were, in another group that I was talking with, they had some examples where everything but the food, and then there was like, there would be restaurants nearby that they would allow you to bring food
Yeah.
in from. So I'm open to hearing about those too. But first of all, like anything that's talked about, if you feel really strongly that there's a super cool place that has like activities and good beer and maybe experiments with food,
Teku Tavern.
spell it for me.
TEKU.
TEKU Tavern.
Yep.
You can write
Is
these
this a
down.
new spot?
Kind of.
I've heard of
it's,
it.
It's been around for like maybe a year. It's right on Denny, like right next to the Walgreens on Denny.
What do you
Oh.
like about it?
I mean, phenomenal tap selection, like huge tap selection.
Okay.
The owners are super, super sweet people. I can bring my dog. As a result of them not having a kitchen, but they do allow outside food. So to me, that's a bonus. Good environment. They have the Mariner game on, which is a big must for me.
Okay, so they're showing games.
Yep.
Okay, cool. What other places come to mind? Do you have any?
I would probably say the Queen Anne Beer Hall. I'm not sure if that falls in the same realm, but they have an interesting beer selection, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a little more unique because it's not quite as local. Also, their setup is nice because you can go with like any size group, either a really big group or a smaller group. And it is nice that they have like they have a larger projection screen, like a projector and then like a big screen. So that's kind of nice. You can watch whatever's on from anywhere in there. And they have whatever is, you know, whether it be like NBA finals or whatever, they're usually playing whatever is on.
It's a good spot to go when you want to watch something.
Yeah, and then they also have really good food. They have a variety of food, so they have some options that are a little more on the healthier end. So if you still want to go out, but you don't necessarily want to have like just straight carbs, they have good options. But then they do have the straight carb options when you want those as well. So it's kind of nice because there's a range, a good selection.
Gotcha.
Yeah, ditto. Good place.
Okay. Any others that come to mind that are go-tos or that you really like?
I would say for me, it's like either Fremont or Rubens, and they don't.
Rubens?
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't have food on site. At least if they prepare, but they typically will have like food trucks, and they also have a really great like outdoor patio. So like on
Yeah.
a summer day like today, it's a great place to go have a beer and sit outside.
Is Rubens the same? Are you describing both? Like both don't have
They're-
food, both have patios?
Yeah, they both have outstanding patios,
Okay.
but they're
So you can bring in food from the outside?
yes.
There's Rooftop Brewery
Yeah.
that's up in Northern Queen Anne.
One more time?
Rooftop Brewery.
Okay.
Really small place. Probably couldn't even fit 40 people on a busy day, but it gives you great service, really good access to the bartender. They have an outdoor patio with a little bit of a view. It's also really close by, so we can even walk there.
I've been there once. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Really small place, delicious beer. They partner with a coffee shop, so like they have like coffee flavored beers, which I'm not into that, but some people are really into that. Kind of experimental.
Okay. You said good beer. You like their beer.
Definitely a great beer.
Okay. Any others that stand out that are really killing it? They're rocking the food, they're rocking the beer, the atmosphere.
I think I'd add No Anchor as well. They're newer.
Yeah.
Anchor?
Yeah,
Haven't been there yet, but
Yeah, they're. I've only been there a couple times, just because I hadn't like heard of them. They are a smaller location, but they've got really good beer options and really unique food.
What does that mean?
Meaning that it's like it's not the food you would typically think of when you think brew pub, in my personal opinion. So more things like unique salads or like a lot of like vegetarian entree options, like a cauliflower salad type thing, like an interesting beetroot dumpling, just kind of unique.
And what did you say about their beer? Was it variety?
Really good option, yeah.
Good options. Okay.
Yeah, really good options. And very knowledgeable about their beer as well.
I heard they have you can order the whole menu option for a certain
They
amount of
do?
money.
Oh,
You
that
can
was
order
that
the whole
place.
menu, and you can like bring a couple friends and share the whole menu.
Yes, that I think it's
It's a
like
cool idea.
$130 to
Yeah.
order the whole menu.
I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, well, and their menu's unique. Like it would be worth trying everything.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any others that really get it?
I have to say, I don't know if anybody's been to the Masonry in Lower Queen Anne. If you want great, it's wood-fired pizza, but they do everything in their wood-fired grill. So you can have clams, salads obviously not. They have great salads. They have a small rotating menu, and they have an outstanding rotating beer list. Small TV. They always play records, so if you're into that type of stuff, but it's sneaky good.
I used to go to Uber off of Aurora. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that
Uber.
place
Been
is
there,
great for
but
beer.
They
What was
have
it? I missed it.
Uber.
Uber?
Yeah, it's like you. It's not spelled the same as.
Oh.
It was. Yeah, I think it's.
Ish.
Actually, it is. Yeah, you.
Okay.
But they have it's all beers from all over, so you can. I mean, they don't have a great food selection, but they definitely have a great beer selection.
Beer is what draws you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about examples of like that you avoid? They're just not doing a good job. Not of interest. Anything I should know?
So they sometimes hit, they sometimes miss, but it used to be Bell and Wheat, and now it's like Belltown Brewing.
Yeah.
It's owned by the local 360 people, and I don't know what Wallace does for like the tipping, but they don't have tipping, so you know it's one of those places where it definitely service really suffers.
What's it called now? Belltown?
It's Belltown Brewing, I think.
Okay.
So they brew their own house beers on site. I've never had them. They have a good selection of beer. Their food is pretty good, but I've been there 3 times, which probably says a lot about me, and it's been bad twice.
Yeah.
You know, when I sat at the bar, it was
Slow.
fine, but it's really slow, and it's like not even necessarily bad service, just super understaffed, and so I avoid it, which is kind of a bummer because it checks a lot of the boxes I would normally like.
I'll take your miss. Is
Sure,
that fair?
fair.
Okay. Really slow, you said.
Yeah.
And when you say otherwise it would hit the boxes,
Yeah.
what boxes do a brew pub need to check for you?
For me, I'm looking for decent food quality. Decent food. It doesn't have to be the highest quality, but just good food, a comfortable atmosphere. Like they've got outdoor seating, they've got indoor seating, sports on TV, or you know some sort of something going on. I mean, those are all things that are there. It's just the service is so poor that I just don't really want to go spend too much time there.
Okay, fair. Any others that come to mind that you're just like, I would not spend my money there?
I would echo the Belltown Brewing, and then also it's just really expensive if you want to eat there.
Yes.
Like it's just
Yeah.
it's and I don't know if it's because they add the 20% automatically and then the service is so bad. If that's why it stings so much, but it just seems really expensive to me. I've been there twice and would not go back.
Okay, cool. I'm wondering, while we're on the topic of brew pubs, just to get a feel for it, how important is the food in a beer-focused pub for you guys, as far as being a draw?
I love food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food matters?
80, 20 for me, like 80%.
Like if you're gonna
Yeah,
hang out at
food
a
matters.
If it's marketed
You
as a
wanna
brew
eat.
pub where there's going to be food, like I would like decent food. If I know I'm just going to a brewery where it's if there's a truck or something, then I'm there for the beer. But if it's a brew pub, I would like 7 to 8 star food.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then on that subject, what are the must-have items at a go-to brew pub for you?
Sliders.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
What type of sliders?
No, beef, chicken. I don't vegan if you can. I just anything.
What about for you? What's a go-to menu item?
Burger.
Burger? Yeah, shout them out.
And like good beef burger. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What's
Soft pretzels.
Yeah. That's a must.
What, nachos?
Yeah.
Nachos.
Very good. Quesadilla, I guess. Same form. Well, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
No, I guess we're doing must-have, not must-have. Sorry, I forgot.
Let's have for a brew.
Yeah.
French fries.
French fries.
It's like not a menu item, but like sauces and flavors.
Sauces.
Like, you gotta have interesting flavors.
Okay.
Like, I don't want just a hamburger, but I want it to have something crazy like some weird mustard or pesto or something.
Or like really good cheese.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You could just give me beer and a block of
Honestly,
cheese. That's fine.
and that is something like the cheese boards have been something that I've started going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm drinking beer, I love like a little cheese and fruit plate or something.
Oh, yeah.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cheese and meat.
Yeah. I feel like appetizers are a big deal for me. Like,
For sure.
I go there for a meal, but I think what distinguishes a typical bar than a good restaurant is something that has a good variety of snacks.
Yeah.
Like tapas style.
Good small platey, snacky type things.
Yeah,
Besides what we've got here.
I grew up in Wisconsin and they don't have them here, but they're called pizza fries. I wish that there was something
That's
like
great.
that where it's
Yep.
basically just a pizza, cheese pizza that you can
Oh my
cut up, but
gosh.
it has like a real like the flavor garlicky and cheesy and
It sounds easy to share. Like
Yeah.
it's a good sharing thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you call that pizza fries, right?
yeah.
What else? There's some good snacks. Or what about for you, Dan? What's
I
your
was gonna
go-to?
say, I think you said like a tapas type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe like
Yeah.
too Spanish, but something small and shareable, but a variety of different things. So there was like cheese and meats with like bread and nuts or something like that. Just small, and you can try a variety of different things on one plate.
Yeah.
Could feed a lot.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I would add it's really nice if they have something that's like mussels or clams
Yes.
too.
Okay.
Those
Yeah.
are really shareable, and if like if whatever they're done in is very dippable and it comes with bread, I find that that's a
Yeah.
really good sharing item, even if everybody at the table doesn't necessarily like seafood.
Okay.
And I guess to represent not me personally, but a lot of people are vegetarian or have some sort of dietary restrictions. So without a doubt, when I'm with a large group of friends and I want to go somewhere big, you have to be able to satisfy everyone's needs. So vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, all of those different constraints that people have.
Got it.
It's always a bummer when you have that one friend who has a constraint and you're like, gosh, I don't really know what to recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We can come back to this list if, as we're talking, something like somebody has this light bulb thing, and we're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. We can come back to that. But the next thing I want to do is a little activity, and I'll ask you guys to just take one pass. And this is kind of what I call a word tree. I'm going to give you some specific instructions for it. But essentially, I want to think or focus on the ideal brew cup. And I want you to be thinking about it. It doesn't necessarily mean this one or another one you've been to. It could literally be magic wand, you're in charge, the ideal brew cup, mixing all of your favorite things about wherever you've been. Or it could be based on something you've been to. But thinking about the ideal, in the first row where the blue rectangles are, I want you to write 3 words or phrases that you would associate with that ideal cup. Don't overthink it, just top of mind. We're going to do this real quick. 3 words or phrases you associate with the ideal cup. 3 descriptors. 3 key ingredients to the ideal cup. Okay. In the second row where the parentheses are, using emotions, I want you to write in what the ideas or the words in the boxes above mean for you. How do they make you feel? ideal? Feelies are harder.
Yeah.
Clearly have
This is
no
hard.
feelings.
But why does that matter to you? Why does that word or phrase make a difference? What impact does it have on you? In the third row, the big sort of the thought bubble, if you will, when you look at your entire sort of word tree, I want you to write in that thought bubble whatever phrase sums up what you get out of this. What is the overall impact of this ideal brew cup for you? What does it mean? What's the big idea? What sums it all up? I think this could be a tough one, but we'll get started and you get inspired and you can add as you go. So what I want to do is have everybody go around one at a time and hold up your, when it's your turn, hold up your word tree so that everybody else can see your thing and just walk us through it and explain sort of what you did. So Andrew, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, and I certainly didn't reinvent the wheel here, but I went with big tap selection, an outdoor patio, and then TVs with sports. You mentioned all that kind of already, but sorry, I'm gonna bring it over here too. Okay. I guess the big tap selection, that leaves me with kind of feeling satisfied, so I know I'll find something that I would like there. The outdoor patio means that when there are days that are kind of perfect for that, it's nice and comfortable, and I'll feel kind of relaxed and mellow. And then the TV with sports means that I'll be entertained and kind of keep my attention, and I'll typically stay around a lot longer if there are those kinds of things and keep me there. And I said this kind of all leads to my go-to spot for everything. And I guess what I mean by that is sometimes we have people from out of town, or even friends coming up, and it's kind of tough to say, oh, you want to take them to a good place that's going to be reliable, and like we're kind of sharing, it's going to match all of their needs, and that would be kind of that ideal, is where it's going to kind of meet all of those needs. So,
Cool.
all right.
Yeah, thank you.
So I put the 3 things that are most important to me for an ideal pub are having games or activities, having tapas or small plates, and then also having a good craft beer selection. I had a hard time writing a motion for games, but I think just the feeling of friendship and community and laughing together, not just talking but being engaged, I think that is really important to me. For having small plates, I like that because I'm really curious. I'm not one who wants to explore when I only have one thing on my plate, but if we're all sharing it, then I'm much more likely to try something new, which a lot of restaurants have a lot of things that I would never try otherwise. And then I also love a big craft beer selection, but that's just because my mood and my taste change all the time. So if you don't have something that's gonna meet my needs, then I'm gonna be bummed. And then ultimately, I kind of pull that together by saying that I want a place that has something for everybody, so everybody will come together and we'll have fun.
Okay, so my 3 words were fresh and variety / kind of funky, and then community. I said fresh because I don't know about anybody else, but when I go and drink beer, I like to leave without feeling extremely full and bloated. So if it's a little, I'm more of a light beer drinker, any lighter beers like Pilsners, so that kind of came to mind. Variety, I like when they have a bunch of different taps, and I like the when they're infused, like weird stuff, because I'll try a bunch of different types of beer. And then community led me to feeling content and comfortable, like you should feel comfortable going to where you are. And then basically the end of it was I want to be happy and relaxed and enjoy.
Starting to see some competing themes here.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know if and my spelling might be off on my camaraderie, but I have fun games to be yummy menu and beer and camaraderie. So for fun games and TV just makes me a place where I feel excited. Yummy with menu and beer. I want to feel full and have like a good palate. Camaraderie, friends, old friends, meeting new people, and joyful. And so the biggest thing is just going to a place where I feel relaxed from my busy, my busy day that I have every day.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have authentic, fun/gathering place, and convenient/go-to. I had a hard time coming up with like one word for what I was trying to describe. So in terms of authentic, I guess I kind of like a place that, like, I like variety and all those other things, but I like a place that kind of stays true to its mission. In terms of like it's more reliable in terms of like what you're getting. So like I think that's why I like places like the Queen Anne Beer Hall, because they're staying true to their their kind of German theme. Or like I really like going to a place like Cloudburst or Teku Tavern, where they're they're doing just the beer and they don't try and do too much, and they've kind of set out their mission and they don't deviate too much. I think it's great to have variety within your mission, but I don't think it's great to do everything at once, if that kind of makes sense. Then in terms of fun/gathering place, I think it's great to be able to go to a place with any size group. I mean, obviously not maybe like 40 people, but if you have a group of like 6 friends versus if you're just going with one person, I think it's great if they offer an experience that fits that kind of spectrum. And then sometimes it's kind of hard to meet people in Seattle. I don't know if everyone would agree, but it's kind of fun when they're like community spaces, like the Queen Anne Beer Hall or something. So if you are trying to, or you're willing to strike up a conversation with somebody or something, there is that option. And then convenient go-to, I think it's a lot of, if you feel like you really have to go out of your way to get in, or if it's always super busy, or if they have like strange hours or something, I think that can kind of be a deterrent because it doesn't come to mind all the time, or if they're closed on like weird days of the week. So.
Yeah. For me, I said on-site production, variety, and then communal. And I think for me, the on-site production gives me a sense that it's local and it's being, like here, you can look and see them working and like wonder if maybe I can go get them, taste the product that they're making here. So that's kind of cool. And then for variety, I said spontaneous, and I think for me, it's easy to just have your go-to style and you get it all the time, but maybe just you feel like doing something different. So someone that has a selection of a lot of different things, you can try something new and maybe find a new style you'd never try otherwise. And then for communal, kind of like similar to the beer hall idea, it's this idea that you can sit down at like a big table, maybe connect with somebody that you'd not meet otherwise. And so just having like a big community space where people in the neighborhood can come together and do that and try different things that's made on site and have a good time is kind of the theme of all three of those.
So lots of sort of recurring themes around places where you guys can feel comfortable, where you want to go, you want to bring friends, you want to be able to share whether you're with someone else or a whole group, and having that idea of variety or selection, making sure that you're going to have things that you're going to get to try while staying authentic and true to sort of the space and the theme. So I want to understand, kind of breaking it down into some of these components before we dig into a menu. You guys are going to take a look at a menu and also help create a menu. But as far as the beer goes and drinks, what do you get when you go to other brew pubs? What do you drink? What's your go-to?
I like to try local. For me, I like a lot of the like Hefeweizen, so I want to make sure that they have that on tap.
Okay, Hefeweizen. What else? What do we like?
I'm sure I'm like super basic here, but IPAs, like that's
Yeah.
basic. Yeah.
The Seattle trend.
Like I hate that I'm exactly that way, but that's basically my go-to. Like I'll look for unique ones that I maybe haven't tried before, or ones that are from outside of kind of the immediate area, but also local IPAs are a big thing. But I like trying a variety because there is kind of a regionality to it, trying different styles from different parts of the country, and so.
Yep.
Okay. IPAs. Like, what else? What do you get? What do you go?
I mean, I'm maybe a little strange in that I do sometimes like to just ask for a recommendation, and I kind of like to have the option to drink anything. Like I really drink everything from like, besides like more on the lighter side, like I don't necessarily ever opt for like a Pilsner, but besides that I like ambers, IPAs, porters, stouts, Saison, like I'll try really anything, and I really like to hear about like what they would recommend, or what's, you know, what could I get right now that I maybe couldn't get if I came in at a different time.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier like seasonal, a lot of
Yeah.
seasonal drinking seasonally, and also that you like places that are knowledgeable
Yes.
about their beer menu.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
accurate.
Okay. What about
I
you,
think
Cam?
for me, one thing that I really started to enjoy is like barrel-aged beers, and not necessarily like
Scotch,
a stout. Like I had one that was like a farmhouse style that was on like a Chardonnay barrel, and it almost tasted like a wine. It was bubbly, so maybe more like champagne, but it tasted like beer, and it had definitely like a hop profile to it. So it kind of like blended the, I don't know, definition of what a beer could be, and so that was something I wouldn't normally go to and try, but I wouldn't say blew my mind, but it was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Interesting.
What about you guys?
In the summer, I pretty much stick to Pilsner. I like the Pilsners. And then in the winter, I'm definitely like a stout or a barrel aged. I really love a good Scotch ale.
Cocktail, yeah.
So I drink the same beer almost every time. I'm always looking for that West Coast style IPA, something that's not as bitter but a lot more fruity and citrus, but still has that hoppy profile. It's a hard balance to find, but there's a lot of West Coast breweries that do it really well, especially here in Seattle. So always looking for that.
What do you guys typically pay for a beer?
Too much.
Don't give me any ideas.
I mean, think about the last beer, last brew pub you went to, you ordered a pint or whatever. What are you paying for beers?
Like $6.
Five on happy hour, maybe.
I think that's something we didn't call out, but happy hour is a big piece of it.
That we
Yeah.
we never talked about that.
We're gonna talk
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
okay.
That definitely dictates.
How did we miss that?
Yeah, right? That's a good point.
Outside of happy hour, because we'll get to that.
Okay.
I'm just, on average,
Yeah.
in general, what's sort of what you're paying for a beer? $5, $6?
I'd say
6 to
6 or
8.
7.
Yeah.
6 to 8.
I-
$6 to $7.
Yeah, 6 to 7
probably
more.
perfect,
when you
yeah.
hit 8, it's a little painful
Right,
sometimes, I
unless
think.
like a very specialty beer, and
Yeah.
then that
Yeah.
case, you're probably not necessarily looking for food, but really
Yeah,
looking for beer.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about right. More than I want to, though. It's like I remember being in college in a different city, so much cheaper, so many better sales. So it is a bummer you come to Seattle. We have all the variety and the selection, but I'm less likely to drink as much, and I'm less likely to drink the beer I want sometimes. Like especially like when I go to a store, like sometimes it's like, okay, maybe I'll just settle with a PBR or something.
Right.
So then, let's talk about happy hour.
Yeah.
What is sort of your ideal happy hour deal? What do you like? What do you go for?
I'd say $2 for a drink.
Yeah, it's
It's a
much
great happy
cheaper.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Load up the table with appetizers.
Yeah.
Like I want every appetizer on the menu, and we're gonna share it 5 ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it just cheaper versions of their usual food and their usual beer, or is there any sort
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
So that's actually
special
something
thing about it?
I have a lot of opinions on that. I hate bars or restaurants where their happy hour menu is nothing like the regular menu. In fact, even this place is like that, where the happy hour menu, I would never come here to eat happy hour food, because the happy hour food that I looked on the menu is nothing really cool. It's like the pretzel and the charcuterie. It's like none of the normal food is on sale. So it's not, your happy hour is not an attraction then. It's more of just like, okay, cool, I'm coming here for beer and I guess I can get some small things.
I really hate it when whatever is on the happy hour is not on the regular menu.
Yeah.
Like to be able to have that crossover. Like I think it's really weird when you can't order something off of happy hour that you would have got on happy hour. I think that continuity is important. And it's fine if the size is different or anything like that, but as long as the item is the same, that's pretty important to me. Because if I come, like maybe I'll miss, like maybe I'll get a drink on happy hour and I'm ordering food off of it, but I want it to be the same.
That kind of reminded me, it's really off-putting when some places will only allow happy hour at the bar. And I understand there's like economics to it, but like when it's not really clear, like I went to Tanaka-san once under B6, and we got the nastiest sneer from this waitress when we sat down asking for the happy hour menu because she's like, it's only available in the bar. But it's like, it's not, and so, you know, when I'm coming to a place like that, I would like to be able to sit and relax and not worry about everybody cramming in like sardines in the 30 square foot space of the bar is.
Right. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and sometimes, I mean, I like to not necessarily bring her into the bar, but she likes to enjoy some of the food as well.
Right.
And I can't bring her into certain places.
Right.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Have it be a little bit more open, flexible, but at least not be, don't be weird about it.
Right. Well, yeah. At least be very clear about it. If it is happy hour only at the bar, call it out.
Yeah, like signs when you're sitting down, someone try and mention it. It is weird if
ask,
it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you here for happy hour? It's only in the bar. That would be great. Because a lot of the time you sit down and you're like, crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, now what do I do?
Well, because if you weren't planning on having a full dinner, you might
Exactly.
as well leave.
And then you're sitting there with this big dinner menu, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
I guess I don't have the strongest feelings about it.
Come on,
But
man.
I would tend to agree though. Like it should be clear cut. Like if you go into a place, you kind of want to have a good expectation of what you're getting. And if the happy hour menu is different, that would be off-putting to me.
So typically like a few bucks off of whatever the normal price is.
Yep.
Versus like 20% off, whatever. Like, just make it. All beers are $4 or whatever.
Yeah. All tap $4.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay if it's like a small section of the, like I'm not off put if I can't get like anything I want on happy hour.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
But like it make the selection good enough, if that makes sense. Like don't just have like, I don't know, the
Caesar
beer.
salad and fries.
Yeah, Caesar salad and
Exactly.
fries,
It's
or
like-
like just a pretzel and just a couple beer. Well, even a couple is fine. But you guys kind of, maybe you know what I'm saying. Like don't make it like just like
So
these two
limited.
beers are happy hour. Or I always find it weird when it's maybe like the wine or like the items that aren't really the focus of the brew pub that are on the happy hour. Like I've had that happen where I've gone in and it's like, okay, you can have like 50 cents off beer, but like the majority of the happy hour is what you're not even there for. It's like wine and like weird random. Yeah.
That's a really good point because it's like I think the reason why things end up on happy hour is 'cause it's the highest margin items at the restaurant, so the restaurant owner can cut those prices. But it's like don't think about it as in what I can cut the price on. Think about what your customers are coming there for.
Yeah.
Make your happy hour menu really customer centric, so people are drawn in by happy hour, not disappointed by it.
And they're probably going to stay past happy hour. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get all those drinks, and then you're all hanging out. You're just gonna stay anyways.
Kind of to piggyback off that too, I love it when the bartender or the waitress will walk up a couple minutes before happy hour and be like, "Who wants another round? Happy hour's about to end." Versus some restaurants where they'll come 5 minutes after and be like, "Oh no, sorry, it's too late. Happy hour's over." Like I like the experience of like, give me the pressure to try to upsell, but don't be like really rude about it when I'm 1 minute late or something.
Yeah, that's always really weird.
Yeah. Well.
I want to break down into kind of like an entertainment category now.
Cool.
So thinking about music, what kind of music should brew pubs play? We can break it down even to like live music versus just ambient, like background music. But what's kind of the vibe you guys are feeling for brew pub atmosphere? Think
One
about
of my-
some of the places you go to.
one
What
of
do
the
you deep dive with?
Most unusual, but it was really interesting, was up at the Pine Box in Capitol Hill. So it's, I don't know if you know it, but it's like an old funeral home, it's like slash chapel, and they were playing 90s hip hop, and it
I
was
love
like,
it. Yeah.
it was like all over the place, but it was awesome. It was the best time. It was packed.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, I think the upbeat, being in an unusual space, drinking really good beer was, you know, you just like had a good time. And everyone's kind of like nodding their heads, you know, just like going along with it. So it was was the unusual combination of
never
setting
been here, but
and
fun
music,
time.
but the
It's good.
space all made it really fun.
That's what made it fun. Cool. What else? What comes to mind? Music.
I think popular music, but in a way that it brings back nostalgia. So popular
Yeah.
music that everybody would know from the 90s or the 80s or even earlier. It's something that everybody actually could know at any age. But
That's a good point.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like today's top 100 or whatever, but like the more that the whole group can relate to it, because I would say it doesn't just have to be old either. Like
Right.
it can be more recent, but as long as it's not necessarily the music that you're getting like hit with on the radio
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
like
no radio
words
music.
would you use to describe the vibe that you want?
relatable. So like everybody can enjoy it, but also like I think it's great when it contributes to kind of that like relaxing
Yes.
like environment, but not like yoga music, but just like not like overwhelming. And I think the volume is also really
Oh my
important.
God.
Yeah, the
So
volume is my
important.
comment.
Because people need to be able to have a conversation. Like very
Not
few
yelling
people,
over
very few people can like are going by themselves. So you got to be able to talk with your friends, and like it should be noticeable, but it shouldn't be the most noticeable thing there. So
So are there any artists, and this isn't to say the artists you say is the only thing that'll get played, right? But thinking about any musicians or artists or bands that might represent the theme around upbeat but relaxed and chill.
The Chili
You can
Peppers.
still talk and eat at the same time and vibe.
The Red Hot Chili, yeah. I think that's a good
What
one.
else?
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Relatable, chill.
Prince.
What was that?
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah,
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think so.
What about Jack Johnson?
I was just gonna mention him.
Yeah,
Or
it's
any
chill.
kind of like guys with guitars. kinda
Yeah.
mellow.
yeah,
Yeah, mellow.
Good. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on the restaurant, obviously, but yeah.
When you look around this restaurant, what's kind of the current style of this restaurant? If you were to come here, what music?
Jazz.
Yeah.
I'd expect something like really quiet and not exactly the music that I think we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
I
put
don't
it
think that.
differently.
But I love
on that.
jazz.
What's the kind of music you would want to listen to?
Yeah.
like
I
in
can
this,
see some old school hip hop in here.
yeah.
I was gonna
see
say,
it.
like, I think the thing
Yeah.
about it that made it work and the experience that I was talking about was that a lot of that kind of like 90s, like East Coast rap music, early 90s at least, has like a jazz backbone to it. So like a nice beat. It's still got like a chill vibe, and even if you don't like the lyrics, you know, it's not that it's obscene or anything,
Right.
but if you just like hear the actual music, it's got a good vibe. I think it would match this space.
Yeah.
I think it would be like upbeat enough that you're still getting some energy from it, but not so much that you want to like get up and like start dancing. So,
Right.
you know, it's just a cool,
Yeah.
relaxing, chill vibe to it.
What about live music? Is live music ever a draw for you to go to a brew pub or to go to a local spot?
If it's known for it.
Yeah.
I love Kells. If I'm planning on going to Kells for an Irish pub, but if it's not
After dinner, like I think the community and the conversation is so important during dinner, but after 8, 9, 10, then you're going for entertainment, and I think it can get louder and be a little more live.
But yeah, I'm thinking more like beachy if you're just kind of hanging out with your friends, sort of that Jack Johnson feel for me.
Yeah.
Just
It would be kind of neat if it was maybe like a one night a week, so you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if it was like on a, I don't know what night of the week it would be, but just that you knew like that's the live music night. And so if that was something you didn't want, you wouldn't go on that night. But if you specifically wanted to,
yeah.
you knew that it would be.
Is there a specific type of live music that might be different than the background music vibe that would be a draw or that you would expect in a brew pub environment?
I think it still needs to be relatable. Like I think it's great if people kind of know what they're playing. Like I think it's kind of weird when someone sets up and they're playing their like own independent stuff and like no one knows it at all. And it's like I think it's fine if people are like writing their own songs and like that's some of what they're playing, but they should probably play some of what people can like recognize or sing along
Yeah.
with.
It's not necessarily like songwriter's night where you're not going to know the music.
Yeah, I mean that just might be me. I don't really like live music though, so maybe my opinion is not.
Oh, I got a big nod from you.
the best
Yeah, I
one.
hate it. Like my building where I work has live music, and it drives me. Like, during the lunch, like in the cafeteria,
Yeah.
it drives me nuts, and I like leave because it's obnoxious, and I don't want to be around that. Like if I'm going to like Tractor Tavern or something like that, like I'm going there to see a band. If I'm coming here, I'm coming here to eat, and I might like just, yeah. I guess kind of back to the volume place. There's a place in South Lake Union called Local, which it's a terrible name anyway, but they blast music so loud in there, and it's a pretty decent spot, but it's like it's a chore to have a conversation, and typically when there's live music, that's also kind of the same issue I run into, is it's just so loud where if I'm there to see the band, cool, like let's go for it, but otherwise, I think you guys have been saying, like kind of let the music be in the background and the conversations be in the forefront.
I think it's key to have it late, like live music after 9, like after dinner. Like if you
Yes.
want to go for light drinks and light food, then you can have the live music.
And I think you feel like you have to pay to come and see live music. So I think it'd be something that maybe if you don't necessarily want to go, it might be something you think, well, that's going to cost me more money to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What
And the-
about event types of, so you mentioned like doing something like one night a week, like a special night and stuff. Are there event type things that you guys are either feeling like you want more of, or that specifically kind of go hand in hand with the group hub that would be a reason to come out? Like some places do, for instance, trivia night. What do you guys think about trivia night?
I love trivia, but I hate geeks who drink. It might be easy and cheap for an owner. Don't do it. The guys suck. They just suck. Like the questions are all pop culture. It's not trivia. Usually the hosts like aren't really trying that hard. It's just a cheap way to get a couple extra bucks. A lot of the restaurants that do it, they don't have the audio equipment for it. So it's like this side thing that they don't take seriously. It's just a way to get people to come in on a Wednesday night. So it's like, I love trivia. We will go to trivia, and we will go every week to a trivia if you do it well.
What makes it well as far as the questions? Like you said, the question stuff.
Yeah, like not all pop culture. Like add in some really interesting things, like things we studied or things you learned in school or
Even
something.
local,
or
like something
local, yeah.
over here. Anything, not just.
But also not like straight history. Like I
Yeah.
want Cinder to hit like a trivia that was straight like Native American history. That was like so bad because no one got any of the questions right. It also wasn't anything that we necessarily would have studied. It was like very specific and not specific to the region either. Like this was in Bellingham, and like it was not about like even the area. Like there are like, you know, Native communities in that area, but they didn't focus on that. It was like weird, like East Coast, like great, like. Anyways, it was just nobody knew any of the like answers, and then even the host was mispronouncing everything, and so it was just weird. They just kept going with it too. So I think one theme, I think it's kind of good to maybe switch the themes up throughout, because then if anything's really flopping, or if like the group isn't like super knowledgeable about the subject or something, at least like you can get back into it at some point.
And it does not have to be 3 hours.
Yeah.
I go to so many places and they say they start at 8, they don't start till like 8:30, and you're out of there like at 11:30 on a Monday, and I'm like, oh crap. So like maybe 2 hours would be great.
Are there any other types of like event-ish things that you've either experienced at other places, or you think is a really good idea for like a brew pub to do?
It may be too much of like a niche, but there was a place down in Portland that would do, they had an on-site production and they would release a new beer every week.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
cool.
The brewer would come and talk about it, and it was short, maybe like 10 minutes, but like, here was the idea, here's what we did, high level, you know, not so technical that people don't understand, but talk about the process, and then just mingle with people. So you could get like that one-on-one time with them to like talk about the beer. What are their beers do they like? Because I think that's always kind of cool to hear what kind of beers the actual brewers are drinking. So you're getting to mingle with them, and it's still like in the environment, it's in the space. So you're still like hanging out with your friends, but it's a unique opportunity I think to talk to the guys and girls who are making your beer.
I don't know that I've actually ever seen anybody do this, but like outside of like underdog sports stuff, but like bocce is fun. It's a blast when you have that on shuffleboard, and you know, getting kind of some even just restaurant organized. Like, hey, Tuesdays are bocce tournament night. Show up by 7 o'clock. Pay $5, get 1 beer free or whatever. You know, whatever you want to do. But just something like that would be. I would love that. I think I would have a blast with that, and that would definitely be something I can see bringing a group of friends with and just kind of coming and doing that.
A couple other really quick examples I wanted to just chime in with here, like stand-up comedy, board games, like game night with friends, also like beer tastings, whiskey tastings, things like that.
Club.
Any of those interests?
I think tastings
I like
are
the tasting.
great.
Yeah.
Please no stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I just would be so uncomfortable and would have so much. I would feel embarrassed for them as they surely bomb, unless, you know, I don't know, we're not in New York or LA, so I don't know what the local comedy scene seems like, but I would feel uncomfortable sitting there, just like
Eating a burger.
watching them just like stumble through things.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I do like activities though. Like I think some of my favorite places where I like to go, especially earlier in the day, are the places where they do have games. So the bocce ball example, Flat Stick Pub is a great example. I mean, they obviously created a bar around that, so it's hard to pivot and incorporate those things, but that's definitely fun. I think board games are an interesting idea. I don't think I've actually ever played a board game at a bar, but I do know there are bars that's their style. So I wonder how you would incorporate that really well. But something to do, I think, is a nice way to. That's a way to get me to come to your bar at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe even like have a day where you could bring bring your dog. You know, as long as it's you know that your dog gets along with other dogs.
Yeah.
But maybe like once a month have a contest with cutest dog or something. I don't know.
That's fun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And everybody loves dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have like a
especially
dog
yours.
competition. Like everyone comes in on Wednesday night and they're gonna vote for the cutest dog and they get free beer or something. I don't know.
There's a bar in Los Angeles, and it's got like turtle races every
Oh, that's awesome.
Tuesday or Wednesday. You
Yeah.
can look it up, and I can't remember more about it than that.
It's outside of the box.
I remember that it's like it was just such a weird thing, but people go down there and just check it out just for that. And so, you know, it's like there are definitely weird options.
God, the
you
house
go
wins
to.
on that.
And there's definitely one. I've never been to it, but I've heard about it. There's a bar in Fremont where they do goldfish races. You buy like a shot or you buy a beer and you get a goldfish and you get to race it.
Okay.
So it's like that's really I think that same idea of like it's just so quirky that it's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of sports, just switch gears just for a minute, because I think a couple of you mentioned, you know, having an opportunity to watch sports, right? Really might make it a bit more of a sports bar environment, but does that matter? Is that, I know for Andrew, he's already clearly said that's a draw, that's part of his ideal, but what do you guys think? Being able to have a spot, like you said, on the big screen, watch a game or watch an event, is that sort of a must-have? Is that important?
I think there's a nice feel to it being on in the background. And it just kind of
like there's a TV there.
yeah, just even the sound of like the baseball game just kind of brings that nostalgia of drinking beer and eating hot dogs. Just,
Yeah. Or like the option maybe of a projector somewhere. 'Cause the big games definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, for me at a place like this, less important probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe if it's on at the bar for people who want to sit at the bar and watch it, but if I'm in the restaurant or at the table, the conversation is more important. Or the music, I would say. I put more emphasis on the music or the background, like ambient noise, as opposed to, you know, being critical that I have a clear sight to the TV to watch.
Yeah.
Gotcha. If this place could do both type of thing, would it become more of a go-to where when the games or when there's something happening, it's here for you for that? Or if you want to have social, beer, food, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a place where it's both?
Yeah, I think so, because to me that's kind of what like the Queen Anne Beer Hall is for me, because not everyone cares about the big game or playoffs or whatever is on, but like if you've even got one person in your group who it's like really important to them, like I don't know, maybe their fantasy football team, you know, like it's a big game for them or whatever. Like I've actually had to like change where we were going, or we couldn't even find a place that like met all the requirements, or you know if their universities like basketball team is playing or something, I don't know, like sometimes it can be hard. I've had people come and actually like watch on their like cell phones, watch the game.
Wow.
And the rest of us were looking for more of that like ambiance or something, but like for some reason, if it's really important, having that option so the person can at least, like if the TV's there, they can check on the game or whatever, I think it can be nice, and it does allow it to be more of an option for any occasion.
I kind of feel like a TV is a must-have if you're serving beer. That said, you have to decide, am I a sports bar or do I want the ambiance? And I would say no one should try to do both. Like when you asked earlier, like should this place try to be my go-to sports place? Like I think that would be challenging their identity, and I don't think that would be the right decision. I think I have a go-to place that I go to when I'm watching a sports game, but then I don't go there on other occasions as often.
What's your go-to to watch sports?
Aussies, dive bar, cheap, so many
They have a
TVs,
huge projector.
huge projector. I like Buckley's, but they also do alumni nights. So I don't really go for the Seahawks games, but they have college alumni games and stuff like that, where it's fun to see fellow alumni, people I haven't seen in a while. But I don't really go to those places just to eat or hang out.
Their food is a suffer of that.
Yeah.
Or you
people don't go
can't get
there.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you can't get it, yeah.
Andrew, what about for you? I know sports are big for you.
Yeah, and so I think,
What's your go-to?
well, for a sports bar, I live pretty close, and I love hockey, and so like Canucks are a big piece of that for me, and so finding a place that'll show it is kind of a challenge. So I do go to Buckley's in Belltown, or it's called Sport. It's like it's right in
In,
the
like,
space,
Yeah.
like
King Five
and so I'm buddies with the bartender there, so I like to go and just kind of hang out with him sometimes. But for sports bars, like. And I think especially for Seahawks games, just because they're so rare, having the sound on
Yes.
is important. Or like
Yes.
for playoffs, it's important. But baseball, I love baseball, but there's a billion games, and so like I don't need the sound on. And I think that's the one way you could do it is like, okay, you Sundays you have the sound on because you know that most people are probably going to be here, you know, with Bloody Mary in hand or whatever at a 10 o'clock game.
Yep.
And you got the sound on, it's a big party. On a Tuesday evening, I don't need the sound off the Mariners. I want to sit and hang out with my friends. But hey, if I want to check, oh look, we're at. It's like that's the perfect. And like I was saying, like if I want to watch the Canucks, I know I'm gonna probably have to go to a place that's a little bit more challenging. You know, I have to go to a sports bar. But for just kind of like you were saying with your friends, like I think kind of that balance would be ideal in my world at least.
Sound's important though. If I'm going to a sports bar, I'm going there because they're gonna have the sound on.
Right.
Yeah.
Sound is very important if you're a sports fan. Which I'm not a super big sports fan, but I know I have friends who will not go if the sound's not on.
Yeah. If I'm going to watch sports, though, I don't necessarily care about the quality of the food or the beer. Then I'm
Yeah.
probably looking to spend less money.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
it's kind of a different, and also like different timing, maybe.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
What combination? What sort of is most important? What do I need to know about a place that you would go out of your way for?
In relation to a sports bar?
Brew pub.
Brew pub?
Like, what's a reason to come back time and time again?
Definitely the atmosphere,
Yeah.
the food, the price, the quality.
I think service and knowledgeable staff go a long way. There's places that have great food and great beer that I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if it takes you 30 minutes to get a beer or the service
Yeah.
is not knowledgeable. I mean, I had somebody tell me their favorite beer is Rainier one time, and I was like, it's not what I was looking for. But
I mean,
knowledgeable.
for me, my go-to is always close. It's always walkable. Now I live in the city, so not everyone lives in the city, but for me, like I don't go out of my way for my go-to.
I think for me, it's probably like having a variety of like a good like core selection of beers that you can go to and like know you're gonna have that as an option every time.
Yeah.
But then maybe like a smaller set of rotating options where you can, if you're feeling spontaneous or just want something different because it's the season, you can try something different, or maybe have both too, you know? Or get like a sampler and have the ability to try a lot of different things each time you come back.
I also think it's important to have things that like not everybody else has like on the menu. Like even it doesn't have to be like super different, but the menu, if it's not just the same exact stuff, you can get absolutely anywhere. Like you need those items on your menu because those are the things that I think a lot of people gravitate towards, and they're kind of like a comfort zone. But like if you have something unique, like I'm definitely willing to like walk the extra 5 to 10 minutes, or if you got a group, get everybody in an Uber or whatever. Like if there's some reason to go, And I don't think it's like there's not necessarily one reason, but I think you have to have a differentiator that's like yours, that it's something other places don't offer in your vicinity.
Yeah.
What would you guys say SLU needs? And I think that could spill over a little bit right into like a little bit of like Queen Anne or even, you know, Capitol Hill. Like we're on the outskirts, but like what does this area need? What do you guys feel like you need?
Can I tell you what drives me nuts about the places we have here? Like, I think we'll get there. Okay, so I work for the Evil Empire down the road, and like a lot of our buildings have bars down below, and I hate going to those places. Like, I avoid Brave Horse like the plague because all of my idiotic coworkers wander around with their backpacks on, bumping into people. People come in like 40 deep, and so I don't know if it's like, I don't know how you prevent that, but it drives me nuts, and I like refuse to go to Brave Horse unless it's the weekend because I just know it's going to be a madhouse, and so we don't need more of that. I guess I don't know what that is that makes it so welcoming, but it just, that I just wanted to share that. Like, it drives me nuts. So at least having spaces for those, like if you're going to have big groups, getting them out of the way so not everybody else has to play avoid the black backpack, and like that just, it drives me nuts, and I refuse to go there. I guess we have a lot of those, so maybe something that's a little bit more either and I think I like the communal style tables, but I think sometimes that almost becomes like an invitation for that. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I have that on my chest. Get the black backpacks.
Yeah, like if you don't have the space for the community.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to
add
do
on
it.
to that.
Because I feel like no, that's perfect. Because that is it. Because everything is so tight and confined in there. They've got like a lot of fun bar games, but there's like no room for anything. And so, even, and I know we're not like in preschool here, but like spaces for people to stuff their stuff, get it out of the way, so that it can feel a little bit more open. Because like, if I'm in there and it gets crowded, it's like I got to get out of here. It's too much. Sorry, that was not about what you were asking. It's like, it's popped in my head. I was like, I gotta vent on this one for a bit.
I mean, I would say I don't go to SLU because I don't necessarily like hanging out with people who work at Amazon. Like, I want to leave work. I want to get away from the tech bros. And usually when I go to a restaurant, it's because I'm looking for people that aren't like the people I work with.
Right. This is interesting, right? Because this is on the other side of Mercer. And there are a lot of bars, restaurants, places that are on the other side of Mercer where people seem to cluster and congregate right after work. So I think this is both potentially a benefit but also a challenge in that are people going to walk north?
I don't know.
But in general, just when you think about some of the places you have, is there anything that you feel like you're missing or anything that you think someone needs to do really well?
I feel like a lot of the places in South Lake Union feel kind of like Bellevue, and I don't know how
that's
better
a
way
good
to
point.
describe
that's
that.
a really good point.
More snooty. I don't know.
Yeah, like not
uptight.
very authentic.
Not authentic.
I don't know, and I don't have a better way to describe that, but they don't like own what they're doing.
There's no charm, for lack of a better term.
This isn't a neighborhood, and I don't feel like very many restaurants in this area feel like a neighborhood.
I think I would use the word a lack of charm, or just to describe it, because they've done so much here to kind of like tear down what used to be here and what this area used to be. And that's, very nice and new and shiny now. But I think, so before I moved to Seattle, I was in Portland, and they kind of had at least in some areas, kind of the opposite notion where if you have an old building and that's in a neighborhood, maybe you renovate the inside, but the outside looks the same, and it probably was a factory or a warehouse. And so they've done something inside to spruce it up so that you could at least like have beer and maybe a meal if they have on-site food, but it still has the charm of the neighborhood, and it feels rooted in where it is. This feels like, something that somebody just, it's very nice, but it doesn't have like that charm and connection to what South Lake Union was before it.
It's not like going to a dive bar and feeling like it's
So this space in particular, right, has that particular challenge. This is a new building. They're inside a new building. It has an industrial feel, a modern feel to that extent. And I know you guys probably haven't spent a lot of time here before. That's sort of the purpose of this group. But if you just take a minute to kind of look around, if you want to about charm or a space that might feel a little more authentic. Curious to kind of get a sense from you guys, what do you like about this space?
I love the industrial. I think this looks
okay.
great on the inside, and I think the challenge, and I think it's outside of the scope of the actual business, is everything looks the same on the outside, and then you can't really. It's hard to manipulate the outside of a building.
Is there anything else that you feel like this space could do to instill that sense of charm or authenticity, or you just kind of feel like once you step into this space that you're comfortable? Because that's another thing I wanted to talk about is what makes this space comfortable to you guys?
For me, music is a big thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be loud, but just that comfort, the feel of having the music on. I know that there's a couple of bars where they have a jukebox where you can actually control it. You can download an app and you can add money to it and add songs from your phone.
What do you guys think about that idea? Have you seen that?
I've seen it. I've never done it.
I think it's like a digital jukebox, if you will, and you can control it from your phone, but like basically the audience kind of have a say in what being played.
I think it should be free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
Like, I think if you want to crowdsource
Yeah.
your decision making, I think that's a brilliant idea. But you need to be able to allow. Like, the reason why democracy works is because there's a lot of people. Only one person is choosing the music because they're the ones who are willing to pay for it. That's not democracy. You're not going to be able to, fight towards the middle. It's always going to be that one interesting person who likes their style of music, and they put $10 in the machine, and we'll listen to that for 30 minutes.
Okay, I hear ya.
So I don't like the pay
what
option.
What would make this space comfortable, or what would make this space a space you want to come in?
I'd say maybe narrowing down the theme a little bit. I really I love the lighting, I love the industrial aspect, but I would say there's maybe a little much going on for me. Like the mountain picture, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not sure it goes with the rest of the theme. And maybe some of the red is a little out of place for me. So maybe just narrowing it down a little bit. I think it's going in a really good direction though. It's not super negative. I would just maybe hone in a little more on one theme.
I just want to jump on that right there. What, and this is open to all of you guys. If you were to take away that whole mountain mural there, what would look different? Is it a big chalkboard? What is it?
Can you open it up? Because I love the open kitchen. I think that's so cool to be able to watch the team work. I think that's really fun. Likewise, the bar is huge. I really like that part. But I wish that was in the center of the building and not in the back corner. I feel like that's a feature for me.
It's completely open, so when you're sitting at the bar, you can see into the kitchen.
Yeah. I like the kitchen and the bar staff being a feature of the restaurant, and I'm not the fan that it's in the back corner, which that's kind of a big pivot, but.
It seemed like you had a thought on charm or comfort at some point.
Well, a couple things. So I think, first of all, this looks like it's a separate apartment building. It does not look like a restaurant. It took me a long time to realize this was a restaurant. So I don't know what you can do to make it pop a little bit more, but everybody's saying everything looks the same here. This so blends in with the apartment building around, and everything's kind of got these random, recessed entryways, and it's impossible to tell this is even a restaurant or a bar. So I would definitely, even starting with a sandwich board, I know that's tacky in a sense, but it's do something to make it pop out a little bit. Interior wise, I think that honestly, I expect snotty Bellevue. Whoever said the Bellevue thing, I expect really snotty, stuck-up, mean people to wait on me when I come into a place like this, and so I don't necessarily find myself going to those kinds of places. I think that by starting off having a really welcoming person, and that's probably the easiest way to make it an environment that you want to come into. It's sometimes you go in and you're like, holy cow, I was so wrong about that, because everybody there was the nicest. They were phenomenal and professional, and they were also really cool and down to earth, versus acting like they're God's gift to serving because they're in this cool industrial space. And so it's making sure the people are there and kind of inviting you. That's the biggest thing to me.
Super warm, friendly.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
greeting you.
Yeah.
Having a host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a host.
Yeah.
All right.
Going back to the mountain thing, I just wanted it seemed like I'm fixated, but just like what I would like to see there would probably be more information about the beer, or even if I could see more of like their other drinks. Or, like I'm not even quite sure what's over there, but you know the other like seems like they might even have bottled beer over there. But information about what's on tap, like a chalkboard would definitely work for that. Just something where I can see like what's over there, even if they do a great job of showing me on the menu, it's still nice to have that visually.
Yeah, like even if you were to keep the mountain, like the chalkboard on top with the written taps would help that.
Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people do, but it gives it a little bit of a charm. It feels like they're involved and attentive, and it's a little. Like I know some places even have like the TV where it's digital and it shows you like how much is left in the keg. Like, that's kind of neat too, but it's a little, I think, overkill in a way.
Yeah.
The chalkboard is like simple. You watch people who are doing it. You can see what's up there. Maybe it has information about like the alcohol content or the malt content for people who care about that. But you keep it like name and maybe like basic information or size of the pours if they do different size pours. But so you can see it, and you can see it from everywhere.
Highlight like a different week, like the brewmaster is somebody's favorite, something that they recommend, like the brewmaster, like make that your focal point of the chalkboard. Like try this.
Yeah.
That's what they recommend.
Personal recommendation.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like why maybe?
Tapping. I mean, they're making beer back there. Like that's not really super obvious. Like yeah, it's behind big doors, and obviously, so even if you were to just kind of integrate some equipment or something like that and kind of make it like a motif up there where you really do have a cool industrial space here, kind of tap into it and own it instead of yuppifying it. Like be like, hey, we're brewing beer back there, we're doing cool stuff. Like yeah, we make good food, but we've got cool stuff going on here. We're not just faking this. So I don't know. I'm playing that up. It's almost like it gets forgotten the rest of the restaurant. You don't really mention it or see anything talked about there.
Okay. Yeah, so really dialing up the fact that they're making the beer on site, that this is really what they're all about.
Yeah, that's a huge draw.
That's a big thing for
I
me
like
too.
really getting their name out, like Mullis. What does Mollusk mean? I mean, the name.
That's a good point.
What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, having the on-site production was the first thing that came to mind when we did this, and so being able to see it, perhaps it's not the focal point when you walk in, but playing it up more is, I think, for me, would be a bigger selling point to draw me back.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to segue into the menu specifically. I'm really excited to show you a new menu that they're considering and get your feedback on that. But before I show it to you, I have a couple of just sort of specific ideas that I want to throw out to you. So if you had to choose between, and keeping in mind this is kind of helping us co-create an ideal brew hub spot you would be interested in coming to. If you had to choose between chili cheese fries or poutine, and does everybody know what poutine is? Does everybody have it? Not sure. Can somebody describe poutine?
Why don't you, Canuck fan?
Yeah, French fries. Typically, it's just French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. I believe are the three main staples to it.
It's gravy versus chili.
Yeah.
Like corn.
Really good. And then people go crazy with it and add all sorts of funky things to it and make it kind of unique. But it's a Canadian bar.
Chili cheese fries or poutine? Which would you rather eat? Go.
Poutine.
Cheese fries. Chili cheese fries.
I'll go with chili cheese fries.
I'd say chili cheese fries.
I'd go with neither, but if I
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
to
that's
That's
my
my
challenge.
poutine, and I'm Canadian, but neither of those are that good.
What is there an alternative that's in that range?
I mean, even just something unique with like a different kind of great sauce, or you know something more along the lines of like their menu, like if they've got a really good aioli or like with just
Dipping.
cheese,
So
Or
like,
cheese fries, like some variation of that, something dip fries into.
I don't know.
I don't like to get my hands dirty, so I like to dip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you need to put the sauce on my fry. I think I can do that.
something.
So I don't
Personally.
know if anybody's been to the Nabob in Lower Queen Anne. Nabob. It's like a bar and they have food and they have great beer too. But they do these. Sure. I love their food and their beer. But they do NABOB. They do these. They're Belgian frites, but they give you like 4 sauce and their sauces are dynamite. And their fries are good. So I'd much rather than a boat of chili cheese fries or poutine have the sauce option.
I feel like
Like-
it's Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying the Red Robin style of like every time you get done ordering, she asks you like, what sauces do you want? Like I love sauces and I like to have more than one, and I like the creativity behind it.
Just to round this out, Dan.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like I
Oh, sorry.
had to choose, I would say chili cheese fries as well, but probably going with this group as having the variety of sauce options to dip something into would actually be my preference.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Would you like to see tacos as part of a small plates menu? Or part of those apps, small plates? Like we all talked about, we like small plates. Tacos be part of that menu. For instance, for like a
Sure, it's
2
like
for
going-
$7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to
mixed
be
with
cheap.
carnitas
Yeah.
fish, or
I don't think tacos are shareable, so I wouldn't really say that's a small plate. I think it's just a small entree without a side. Which I love tacos, but I usually go to a Mexican restaurant for
Yeah.
tacos.
Yeah.
I would go across the street also. You gotta
Yeah.
consider that. So
It reminds me of like what is it? I'm sorry. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go on our must-have list.
I would
It's
say no.
not necessarily something
No.
you feel is really missing. You can get it elsewhere.
Unless you have something that's really special, but like focus on your other stuff.
yeah.
Okay, and so I came back. Jack in the Box has the option of having fish tacos, and it just to me it just sounds so gross. I mean, it's just coming into a place like this. Tacos just doesn't seem like it would be.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
a cup.
Right.
Yeah, I would stay away.
Well, I just worry about the freshness too. Like, how many other people ordered tacos? Is the taco meat getting used enough? Is it fresh?
So I'm kind of maybe the odd person out. I like some taco options only because sometimes it's maybe more on the healthier side of what's
Yeah.
offered. And if it's in theme, like I don't know if it uses their signature sauce or there's just something really great about it, or as long as they're really unique. Like I don't necessarily associate just tacos with Mexican food if they don't necessarily have like a clear Mexican tie. Like I think it's okay to have something that's got like aioli on it instead. It does like a cabbage aioli fish thing, or like a
Yeah.
or like I've even had tacos that maybe had more of like an Indian theme to them with like masala, but it was very in theme and it just provided another option, and I quite liked it. So I think it depends on how it's done. That would shape my answer.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's true.
fair. All right. What would you think about a sausage platter with 3 local variations for $13?
How is it presented?
Well, that's what's on the menu.
I want it to be presented for you to want that.
Oh gosh, shareable, but I don't know how appetizing nubs of sausages look. So
I love a charcuterie tray, like the meat and cheese, and a lot of people put, like a lot of German restaurants will put sausage on one of those trays. That said, I've gone to Belltown Brewery dozens of times. They sell a lot of those meat platters. I've never ordered one. I've ordered just about everything else on the menu except for that. And I love sausage and I love mustard, but
Yeah, the idea of seeing on the menu a sausage platter maybe with some mustard for $13. Is that something you order?
Did you say it was 3 sausages?
3 local variations.
So Queen Anne Beer Hall does the sausage like walk up thing. You walk up to the side counter and you can order sausage, and I've done it. The sausage is sometimes maybe a little crispy, which is maybe overshadowing or changing my opinion, but it looks weird. Like when you get it, it doesn't look super appetizing. I don't think it's something that if you saw, like I love like watching what other people are ordering. Like I'm definitely a food creep, and like I want to like the look of what other people
Yeah,
are getting,
the look's
and I
huge.
don't think sausage looks very appealing. And I don't know. I think
As a platter, maybe something potentially shareable that's not.
something
know.
different, maybe like the Chinese or Korean pork would be great. I love that stuff where it's with the hot mustard and the sesame
red?
seeds.
Yeah, barbecue pork.
That's a little more appetizing looking, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't care for sauerkraut, and I know that this is headed to some sauerkraut. Yeah. Think about it works, at Rhine House or at Queen Anne Beer Hall. It's a huge space, or you're eating it outside. I really don't want to be sitting next to somebody with sauerkraut, and they're eating. And like people were saying, it's not a super appetizing dish, and I guess I'd be a little bit surprised to see it here versus a typical, German beer house
German,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
yeah.
Feels more in line with the
Yeah.
German
Yeah.
themed place.
But,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So we're gonna go around really quick. I want each of you to build me your perfect burger. Yeah.
Oh shoot. So I like spicy, so I'd probably put like pepper jack cheese.
What's your base?
Beef, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So then pepper jack cheese, jalapenos, maybe like I don't know that it would be sriracha, but just like a spicy mayonnaise or something like that with a spicy ingredient. But then something to cool it off, like lettuce, tomatoes, but then maybe like some grilled onions too, and then on like a toasted bun.
Got it.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
What is the price point? Like, are we talking like lower end, like $5 happy hour, or are we talking like maybe in the $10 to $15 range?
Whatever constitutes your perfect burger.
Perfect burger. Okay.
If you want to first describe it and then tell me how much you would expect to pay for it,
Okay.
that works.
I would probably say like a really nice bun that doesn't get soggy. Really like nice, good beef, bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, but like really good like local cheese. And I like a twist. I like something unique that's like an option, but not, you don't have to have it. Like if you're gonna have something like a pesto or a different sauce or something, make sure you have a traditional option as well. And my perfect burger is probably on like the higher quality end, like with a really, a good bun and good meat. So I would probably expect to pay maybe like $12 to $14 for it.
What would you pay for yours, Dan?
$12.
So
Yeah.
$12?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mine, I definitely has to be free range fed beef, and then I like it kind of stuffed with cheese, and then I like to have cheese on top with a tomato, lettuce, onion, and some blue cheese, and then like a real good bun that's kind of toasted a little bit, and I would definitely pay 12 to 15.
Cool.
So like I stated before, I'm a big fan of the sliders, like the small burger versions, but something that, again, back to the Nabob, I think I like their food more than I do their beer, but something that they do is they do these 50-50, so they grind bacon into the beef. Oh my god, it will change your life. And all they have is like a toasted brioche bun, they have lettuce, the beef, they have a sharp white cheddar, and then a great garlic aioli, and it's the best burger I've ever had. It's one of my favorites.
How much would you pay for that burger?
If it was a standalone burger, probably 12.
I love that you mentioned bun because I think the bun is the biggest reason why a hamburger can come out and it can be a bummer. It's always soggy in the bottom, or it's too squishy, or it's not toasted well. So I can't tell you what kind of bread I prefer, but a good bun makes a difference. I love Beecher's white cheddar. I like how it's local too, so when I see it on the menu, I have some appreciation for it being Beecher's. It's also a little more expensive, so it's nice. And then I always prefer something with really interesting sauce. In fact, I usually go down the menu and look for something that's interesting, whether it's, I mean, there's lots of different options, but I think those are the things that are most important on a hamburger for me.
The sauce.
Yeah.
Add some sort of special sauce.
Like I don't want to tell you like my preferred one, but like when you go to a restaurant and there's a barbecue burger and they have like the little crispy onions on it, like that's fun. When you go somewhere and it'll be like guacamole on it and that's a little different and spicy. Like I think I rarely just buy a basic hamburger, especially when I'm paying $12. I want something interesting.
Okay. Last but not least.
Cool.
Perfect burger.
I think my perfect burger would, I love beef hamburgers, but I would probably honestly go with a chicken.
Yeah.
Like a chicken sandwich. Well, I guess not sandwich, but chicken burger. And so, for me, I also like spicy stuff. So I think everybody's been pretty clear. Solid toasted bun, but then a really high quality chicken breast that's been well cooked but not rubbery. They always kind of tend to mess that up. And then some pepper jack, and then either a little bit of guacamole or maybe some like chimichurri, something kind of spicy, a little Spanish, and then I like red onions, and I hate tomatoes, but I'm sure everybody else likes them, so tomatoes and lettuce. But and I feel like $14 would be fair. Maybe put a little bacon on there. That'd be delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would have me coming back.
And when you go to a brew pub for dinner, do you ever order dessert?
No. I'm not
Oh, not anymore.
No. Then what belongs.
I don't order this very often, but I've heard a couple other breweries that have put their stout with ice cream and make a milkshake. I think that's creative and interesting. I've never ordered one though.
Any dessert? Am I anything belong?
I would just think like pie would be.
Pie would be good, or like
but
a,
yeah,
Pie.
like apple pie or something.
Yeah.
Like the little molten cakes.
yeah, like
Those-
chocolate.
And that's
mold.
it's something good shareable where you have 3 spoons and maybe a little ice cream and everybody can kind of sit there and take a
Yeah.
nibble because you're pretty full from the beer and the food. So
I would say something unique that's shareable. Like if I'm gonna go out of my way to order dessert, it's got to be because it's not something I can get just like anywhere. Like it's not an add-on. So like I just recently had cinnamon roll bread pudding, which was like very unique. Never seen it before, and it doesn't have to be that, but just something that's like can't get this anywhere else. So I'm definitely gonna order it because like I don't want to miss out.
Like, what if you on the ice cream, I don't know how many people want ice cream with after beer, but on that path, what if you did like a house caramel that you infused your stout with or something like that, where you could only get it here? And it's,
Cool idea.
Maybe keep it simple, have like ice cream or something, but then
Yeah.
incorporate something special that they made.
It's a
I
cool
think
idea.
themes are cool.
Yeah,
like
I
I,
do
like
too.
I like that. Like if you pulled some, it's in some ways I think it's about storytelling, and so if it's
Yeah.
relatable to other pieces, or as long as it doesn't just feel like an afterthought.
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
something that they can sell to you, like with a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like if it's made with a beer that you get in-house, maybe you had it with your dinner and then you can taste it in the sauce and it's not overpowering, but you're like, wow, this is interesting that it works in the sauce as opposed to what I just drank. You know, a pint.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show you the menu now.
Cool.
Cool.
So I have,
Exciting.
hold your thoughts and reactions to the menu. Take one and pass. So I'm going to sum up at the end once you really spend time looking at it. But I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. So the first thing I want you to do with this menu is, bear with me. I want you to use the black markers you have and circle 3 items that you would order the most. And it could be anything on this menu, but your top 3 things that you would order the most.
Ooh, yeah.
Are we getting samples?
Yeah, some of these sound pretty good.
Once you've selected your 3, since these are the things you anticipate eating the most, put a star next to your very favorite. The thing that you're the most excited about.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That sounds good. Bacon.
Everybody has a star and 3 circles?
Yep.
Alright. Now, looking at this menu, you can pick up to 3. But if you don't have 3, that's okay. There could be less. But pick up to 3 things that you would actually never eat. That you would take off this menu if it was just up to you. And put an X next to those things.
So up to 3.
Up to 3. 3 things you kill off this menu.
So when I pick, if I have more than 3, would I just pick my least,
Pick
my
your- yeah,
least
pick your
favorite?
top 3 things that you would never eat, that you would not care if they were not on this menu. you to do two things here. Now, keep in mind, I know these markers are a little thick, but I want you to print legibly, so I can definitely read these. It's going to be really important. In the box, I want you to put in, number one, the hours that you think happy hour should be. So when should happy hour be featured or offered? And then in the space below the happy hour box, I want you to create a sample happy hour menu. Say up to 3 things that you should definitely want or see on a happy hour menu. And I want you to include the prices for that. Now, whether it's a happy hour deal where it's just like pick any of the below X dollars each or whatever it is, if it's individual items then they should be different prices. You can write a price next to each thing. But also keep in mind the alcohol component of it, right? So what is the happy hour deal? Is it just like all beers, $4, and then here are some menu items? So keep in mind the food and the beer / wine, whatever it is. Don't feel like you have to make a whole thing. Just 2 or 3 example food items and what would be the cost for whatever you're offering, beer and food-wise. I know some of you weren't fans of having things on the happy hour menu that aren't on the main menu, but if you are so inspired, perhaps there's a theme or something that relates to the main menu, even if it's something different. There are no restrictions here. The reason I say that is because the very last thing you're going to do, either at the top of the page or at the bottom right, wherever you have open space, I want you to write the one thing that you think is missing from this menu overall. What's a must-have item that you don't even see on this menu that you want them to add? Put a plus sign next to that so I know that's what you're adding. Probably should have started with this, but somewhere on the page, write your name so I know whose is whose. Okay, another minute to wrap that up. Okay. We're in the home stretch. Cool. I need you back to help me write notes. Okay. So, we're not going to go into details about what all you wrote. I'm going to pour over them later. But ultimately, I'm just curious. What are your just initial reactions to this menu? What do you think?
I really like it overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Think it's interesting. Think there are a lot of options. My one criticism would be that there are some really weird items that don't necessarily, like, they don't fit the flow or the theme, and I
Yeah.
think you could eliminate some of them without necessarily detracting from the overall really great, rich selection.
What stands out to you when you say weird?
Uh,
What's
pick-
weird?
Pickle platter, the fish sandwich, they just, they seem like they don't have, like I don't understand what you're supposed to order them with, what they're related to. I feel like everything else, I can totally see like what else I'd want to eat alongside it. Those items, I just don't, it's not that I would dislike them, I just don't know what else I would order them with.
Gotcha. What about the rest of you? Initial reactions to the menu. What do you guys think?
I think it's good. I love when places do one of their house beers that they pair with it. Like where at the bottom they say this pairs really great with such and such.
Cool.
The ale, the amber ale.
Cool idea. Yeah. What else?
I thought it was kind of odd that they had some like this like bolognese flatbread, and then they had pasta bolognese at the bottom. It just seemed like almost an afterthought, even though it's the first thing. Maybe an afterthought's the wrong word, but it just seemed like maybe they were trying to fill out their small plate selection, and it's just kind of a random option compared to the other things at the bottom. It just seems unbalanced.
I would add that I completely agree with that. The only thing that would change my mind was if the bolognese was like amazing and like their signature or something, I would no longer see it as weird. Like I'm curious enough about it that I might order it, but seeing it initially with everything else that's here, those were two other items that I would also add to my like, what am I supposed to eat this with?
You know what? Do me a favor. If there's anything that's not necessarily like I would never order that, or ooh, I'm really excited to order that, but it feels weird or out of place, put a question mark next to those things. Any other thoughts on the menu? Is this a menu where you feel like you come back here for something on the menu? Is there anything where you feel like, oh yeah, I can come here with my friends? Like, what thoughts are you having about this menu?
I like the size of it. I hate restaurants that have really long menus. That's really a bummer. It takes too much time to order, so I think this is the perfect size. I love how you have every different type of meat in a sandwich, and it's paired really well, except for chicken, which I found really weird. There's no chicken sandwich or chicken burger, but I love the size of the menu.
I was surprised at the prices. I thought they were lower than what I would expect.
I would agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely got like the yuppie feel to it on the inside here, which we're just calling what it is, and so like they're not necessarily yuppie prices. I hate that the wings are not just normal wings. Like that bums me out, because I love good wings, and we do not have any good wings around here. And I know it's not necessarily the vibe. Like black garlic sesame sauce is probably a lot more in line with the clientele coming down here, but that bummed me out a little bit, because like sometimes just want a good wing.
What kind of wings? You mean like buffalo
Regular
wings?
buffalo wings. I don't need like. I like the Korean style, but like I think that's pretty overdone around here, and so just give me a regular wing for once would be awesome.
What if you did?
Curiosity, is that the one thing you added at the bottom of your?
No. What do you mean? Oh no, fries and aioli. It's not on there, right?
Oh, good point. There's no fries side.
Added. Or even like
They
if you
have-
do the wings.
They're
Sorry.
a house cut fry, but
But it's not like a sauce with
Yeah.
funny stuff. So
And I'm surprised to see cheese curds on here. I don't know that many people know what cheese
Oh
curds
God,
are.
I love cheese. I used to live in Minnesota.
I grew up in Wisconsin, so.
Not a fan.
Okay. Any other reactions, thoughts with that?
I would just add that I think it would be, I would maybe combine some of the pricing options. I would maybe raise the overall price of the burger and include a couple of these things. God, looking at it, I was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, so I don't get cheese, I don't get tomato, I don't get like, I would add a couple of those things in, raise the price, and then make it clear what your options are. Also thought like the substitute poutine, Caesar salad, chili, or whatever, like that was, it just seemed like it added unnecessary weight.
From a layout perspective, I think it's really weird that entrees are at the bottom. Like, first off, a burger is an entree. I get what they're trying to do here, but I thought that was weird. But I also had made my decision before I got to the most expensive items on the menu. So if you're trying to sell me your barbecue ribs at $16, there's so many other things that I thought of before. I think the layout's just wrong.
I didn't mind the layout, but I think you would need to draw way more attention to the entree, if that makes sense, because I had done exactly the same thing. I'd already picked what I would eat, which in some ways is a really good thing, because it's not saying that I wouldn't change my mind, but it's like I almost forgot to read the entrees completely.
Yeah.
Do we think the entrees are solid? I mean, would you have changed your mind once you got to them for any of them?
Maybe the bacon mac and cheese, I was super curious about. Also barbecue ribs, maybe.
I'm going to give you guys one more add. So I know I said only add one thing, but if there was something else you could add to this menu now that we've chatted that you think is really missing, so I want to make sure that I'm capturing if you think this needs something in lieu of something else that you X'd out. Anything that would make this your go-to or an exciting spot to come?
I just want to add so many things.
Okay, so we've got about like 12, 13 minutes left. I want to spend the whole rest of the time focused on brunch.
Oh.
Okay? So, when was the last time you guys went out for brunch?
Well, last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This morning.
This morning, yeah, I submitted.
This morning?
All the time. Like,
Last week.
yeah, very often. Probably at least, yeah, a lot. Kind of just.
Every weekend.
Alright. I want us to make a brunch menu together. So thinking about this place, so where we are, we've got a little bit of the atmosphere, but ultimately I want this to be your ideal brunch menu. Not just what you think would be here, but what should be here. What goes on our menu? And ultimately, obviously, this is a brunch menu you would want to eat, but what's on our brunch menu?
Eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
What kind of eggs Benedict? Are we going classic? Are we doing options?
I think options, like I always go classic, but I like if the options are interesting enough and not something that you could just get anywhere, like don't make it just smoked salmon or something, like everybody has that.
What do the rest of you think?
I'm a
About that?
classic.
Yeah, about eggs Benedict. So let's assume there's going to be some sort of classic version of this. What else do I need to know about an eggs Benedict that would make you want to come here for brunch?
I don't personally care for them, so
Yeah.
I can't chime in on this one, but they always look very good.
I would add homemade hollandaise sauce
Yeah.
is really important. I mean, maybe don't add it if it's not something you can't do well. That's just my, like,
Yeah.
I'd still come back if it wasn't on the menu. That's just my favorite.
And with a classic, are we talking like an elevated classic, or like is it like smoked ham, or like a prosciutto, or is it Canadian bacon?
Oh yeah, elevated.
What do you guys want?
Everything in Seattle is elevated.
Yeah.
Like, we're foodie culture.
Alright. Is there another version other than smoked salmon, or something that stands out to you guys or you've had elsewhere?
I think a really good vegetarian option. It doesn't have to be the eggs Benedict necessarily, but I think like adding interesting vegetarian options is always that. Like I eat meat, but I definitely like to eat vegetarian sometimes.
Okay. What else goes on our menu?
Great scramble.
Yeah.
Farmhouse scramble type with some nice roasted potatoes of some sort.
What kinds of ingredients go in the scramble, or is it a make your own?
Cheese, black olives, onions.
I like peppers in mine.
Onions and peppers.
It's probably a meat type. Oh well, we've got
Chorizo.
yeah, chorizo's
I love
great.
chorizo.
Pork belly maybe.
I'm a really big fan of Mexican flavors for breakfast. I think there's so many different things that you can think of, but I usually am more prone to having something more Mexican than American.
I would echo that. I cannot get like good migas or chilaquiles here.
Yeah.
They're nowhere to be found. And I think it's a big opportunity.
What is it?
Chilaquiles.
It's like, I don't know if it's that way.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
Like even like a breakfast burrito,
Oh, God,
breakfast
yeah.
tacos. Like I just said earlier, no way put tacos on the menu, but for breakfast, I think that's
Breakfast
different.
taco would be crucial.
Yeah.
Especially if you're gonna drink at breakfast, I feel like
Yeah.
Mexican flavors are good.
Yeah.
Does very well.
What else belongs on a brunch menu? A place like this, brew pub.
Mimosas are key.
Okay, we're gonna carve out an area for
Okay.
Yeah,
the
drinks are actually like one of the biggest things when I want to go out to
Bloody
brunch. I want.
Bloody Mary?
Yeah.
What do we, what
It has to have
criteria?
celery in there and good olives. And
It doesn't have to have a freaking entire chicken on top.
Yeah, please
like
don't do the Sam's thing.
Yeah, no, just
Don't go the
standard
Sam's
Bloody
route.
Mary.
They
just
put like a
make it
whole
really
hamburger
good.
on
Yeah,
it.
it's just
Like simple. We don't need the extreme.
Not extreme.
$18 Bloody Mary with a hamburger on it.
Right.
Actually, we were up in Vancouver recently, and I've never had this before, but they put orange juice in a beer and called it something.
Like
it
a
was actually
beer-mosa?
really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
That
have
would
to
be
look
cool
up what
beer.
people are doing
Yeah.
for it to do it right, but they had a beer and they put orange juice in it. It was really good.
that would be really cool.
Okay. Anything else?
So I don't know the economics of this, and I'm sure there's a reason why, but like bottomless mimosas don't seem to be a thing here. There's just,
They
I think-
do for about $30 a person.
Well, okay. So what,
See?
I'm
Yes.
just saying, like, I don't know that I can hang with that, but I do know that I hear people complain, especially folks who spend a lot of time in San Francisco or
Yeah.
Portland. Like, those are very big brunch cities, and they kick our ass at brunch like all day long. So I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. I've even looked up specific places to see if they've had bottomless mimosas.
Okay. What else? What else goes on a brunch menu? Any lunchy type things that would be different than the regular?
That's a good comment that brunch is usually from like 11 to 1, but I actually often have breakfast before that. So having a full lunch menu I think is important.
Okay.
So like having all of this, most of this available at 11 a.m. for someone who wants to have lunch early.
Yeah, I'm the person that usually gets a burger at brunch.
So then burger definitely needs
Yeah.
to be on this. Yeah,
And
this
maybe
is-
add an egg to it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What is a must for the brunch menu?
mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese would be good.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time thinking of more examples, but I don't like egg, and a lot of times you go to brunch menus and it's egg in every entree, so being sensitive to that not everyone likes egg.
Fresh fruit, maybe.
Yeah, fresh fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, you could do like an oatmeal option. I don't know how many people order it, but it's not much
Yeah.
overhead. Like, you're not wasting any oatmeal because it sits there. So maybe that option.
I think you have to do like a classic breakfast too, like a farmer's breakfast, you know, like meat, egg,
Yeah.
and like good potatoes or something. Just because some people don't like some people actually go to brunch for like a very classic breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having that option, I think, is important.
Doing it well. I guess I love French toast.
Yeah.
I do. But
Yeah.
it doesn't taste like egg.
Waffle.
It's not in your face.
Yeah.
Good
No, I like
waffle.
French toast. Sometimes they do it with like a cream cheese on it or in it. Try to make it a little more interesting.
Okay. Something delicious
One of
there.
those waffle machines.
Waffles and then
Hotels.
chicken waffles.
Yeah.
Chicken waffles.
Ooh, that would be a
Yeah,
great
chicken and
one.
waffles is
So,
trendy.
You can add the option to add chicken.
That's
Only
a
if
good
it's
idea.
good though.
Yeah, only
If it's
done.
really good, then
Gotcha.
Cool.
So how often would you come for a weekend brunch if your favorite food was on it? Assuming one of these hits that bucket.
Once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
once a month.
Once or
Twice
twice
a
a
month.
month.
Once, twice a month? Okay. And what are the hours for brunch?
Like,
At least
is
till
there a
in
breakfast or
Probably not.
Okay.
Assume this would
just brunch time?
be weekend offering, otherwise they're not open for breakfast. Assuming that.
10 to 2.
10 to 2, yeah.
usually 10 to
Because
Yeah.
if you go too late, there's some places where it's like 10 till 3 or 4, and you have to order off brunch even if you're like, okay, I really just kind of want a sandwich right now. So I
Yep.
feel like when it goes too long, it's a little obnoxious. 10 to 2.
10 to 2 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
He's already up and had his first breakfast.
Yeah. Well, definitely I would have had breakfast by then, but I could have second breakfast.
And then a slight diversion from brunch. What would make you come to Mollis for lunch during the work week? What kind of lunch special or lunch offering would get you to come here? For those that are, imagine you're in walking distance.
Okay, imagine I'm in walking distance.
I wouldn't, because I don't take a lunch. Like, I'm way more likely to like work through lunch and then come for a happy hour or something. I'm not going out for lunch. Not out of my
Delivery.
gas.
Yeah, delivery is probably your best option. Getting in with something like Peach or one of those companies. I know a lot of big companies, employees use Peach a lot.
I know Amazon's trying to get something off the ground too, where it's like.
That's what I work for. That's my thing is Amazon restaurants. So I didn't
Nice.
want to jump all in there, but
Yeah, so is there a lunch thing, or am I
yeah,
making
yeah,
that
no,
up?
No, we do. We have something called Daily Dish.
Daily
That-
dish.
Daily
yeah.
dish,
That's what
yep.
I'm talking about.
Daily
Yep.
dish.
Where it caters to company businesses.
Yeah, I don't, do you know what that is?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so basically you partner with, we partner with restaurants and with buildings, and so we'll have like, the restaurant prepares the food, you pre-order it, the customers place their orders through the app, and then drivers come pick up the food and take it to various buildings, right now in Seattle and Bellevue.
Okay. Okay, so daily dish. If you were going to come here, what kind of lunch special, or what are we talking?
Speed is key.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
be in and
that
out
would
in
be-
45.
Like in
Yeah.
and out, or like a 30-minute lunch
Yes.
express thing.
I think 45 is a like if you're
30, 45.
if you're doing it, it's usually like a Friday afternoon or something, and so maybe you're taking a little bit longer, but definitely don't want it to be like an hour and a half. I think that's
Then you also
No.
have to factor in the to from time.
yeah,
blah,
you're,
blah, blah.
it's not gonna
Yep.
happen.
What do you want to pay for lunch? What's sort of the max we're talking here?
Probably like
You're gonna
$9
offer some
max.
Yeah.
I like to pay less, but if I go to a restaurant, these prices are what I expect downtown for lunch or dinner.
They're comparable to what they
Yeah.
already are on this menu.
I mean, I like going to somewhere that you're paying sub 10, but when you go to a restaurant, lunch or dinner, you're paying, in my experience, the same price.
There would need to be way more healthy options
Yeah.
for me for lunch. I eat healthy for lunch so I can splurge at other times in the day and drink beer. I also don't ever think brew pub for lunch. If I am going out to lunch, it's probably because it was either like with coworkers or with a client for some sort of like event. And brew pub is probably just not the first setting I would think of, even though it is Seattle. And then also like it can't be heavy. I can't, even if it's not
Yeah.
healthy, it can't be heavy because then I'm gonna fall asleep. So.
I'm a nurse, and so I can't it has to be fast, and heavy is too much. Like I can't go back to work being all sluggish.
Keep it light, keep it fast, keep it cheap.
Yeah. And I guess being like a nurse, for example, you probably aren't allowed to drink at lunch. So like, where are the good beverage options for people who can't go back to work after having a drink? A lot of people in Seattle probably can, but if you don't want to as well.
Yeah.
Like a nice alternative.
Yeah.
beverage-wise.
Like a lemonade, an iced tea, green tea, cold tea. I don't know.
Kombucha, something.
Yeah.
Kombucha. Like, I don't know if you need to have that during dinner necessarily, but during lunch, I think it makes more sense.
And then just to wrap up, just to sum up, as like a quick little thing from each of you, what's just sort of key for the ideal SLU brew pub? What are you needing?
I think just honestly, staff that's not going to have attitude, like a reliable place where I can be comfortable. Like I made my whole stink about like backpacks everywhere. Like a comfortable space is probably going to be as important as the food. Like I would love to be able to go back to Prairie Forest and spend more time there, but I'm just not going to because of the environment and the atmosphere. So having an environment or an atmosphere that's like going to make me want to enjoy it and kind of hang out. Food looks great here, but like let's be honest, it's kind of a dime a dozen. So making it somewhere that I want to spend a little bit more time versus a really uncomfortable, cramped spot is going to set everything apart.
What about for you, Joe?
I don't know. To think of the reasons why I want to go to SLU, I don't think it has I think it has very little to do with the restaurants. I think it just has to do with transportation. I don't live in this area. I live on the other side of Aurora, so it's so hard to get here, and I don't know how a business owner solves that. So that's what I struggle with. I think they're doing a lot of things well. It's just I'm still gonna have a hard time getting here. I think I would just go home or go to somewhere that I'm more used to, I guess. I don't know. I struggle with that answer, with that question.
I'd probably say staff and the environment and being comfortable. I don't ever want to walk into a restaurant and feel like I'm intruding into somebody else's space. So for me, it'd have to be friendly.
For both of you, I'm just curious, does this place
I've like driven by, walked by before, and I thought, okay, there's a lot of. I'm in my late 20s. I feel like there's a lot more people in their late 30s, maybe with a kid who's got the babysitter and they're sitting here drinking a glass of wine. Like, I don't get a vibe right now. Currently, when I walk by, there's a reason I've not been in here because I don't really get the vibe like, oh, there are people that I could just go chat it up at the bar with, or something if I'm by myself or with friends. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel that way, and I don't really know where that perception comes from. But I guess that's kind of what my thought is as I walk by this kind of place. Is, you know, it's got really cool pennant lighting. It's a cool design, but I guess it felt a little stiff. And now that I'm inside, I'm like, okay, it's not super stiff, but it just always gave that vibe. Maybe it's the wine barrels, I don't know. But yeah.
Christina?
I would say service for me is a big thing. Yeah, like the person, as I enter in, having that host is really important to me.
Yeah, someone to warmly greet you. Got it. Christine?
I would say, like, picking a theme and going for it. Like, I know we've listed a lot of key items for us and things like that, and I've personally listed a lot of key items for me. But if you've got a good theme and you're true to it, and I think that's it with like in terms of everything, also like the way it looks, the menu, everything. Like, make sure you're sticking to like what you do really well. I like to. Like, you don't have to have something, even if, like, I love Eggs Benedict, but if you do everything else, like, if you do something else really well, I'm coming back for it. And I live, like, probably a 15-minute walk away, and I would walk the 15 minutes if it does something that's cool or unique or, you know, be authentic, do what you do really well.
Okay, Dan?
Yeah, I would say the quality of the product and making a variety of selection in terms of beer, but then in terms of space, try like maybe connected to something not necessarily historical, but just something that doesn't feel really done everywhere else.
Thank you guys so much. This has been really, really helpful. You can just leave your worksheets and stuff at the table. And Dave's got your pint cards.
10 free pints.
Yeah. Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you.
You bet.